All right, get ready to explore one of the most sprawling, unconventional, and frankly mind-bending theories you might ever come across. It's called the Philfo hypothesis. And it's this huge idea that tries to connect your dinner plate, the fundamental particles of the universe, and the very nature of consciousness itself.
So, let me ask you a question. Have you ever stared at your lunch and wondered if it holds some secret about the cosmos? Well, according to this theory, the answer isn't just yes, it's that the connection is way more direct and profound than you could possibly imagine. At its heart, this whole idea is incredibly ambitious. I mean, it weaves together concepts from traditional Indian cooking, the really strange world of particle physics, and it even starts talking about a fifth dimension that could be influencing our reality.
Now, I know that's a lot to take in all at once, so don't worry, we're going to break this whole thing down. Let's explore it together, one layer at a time, using the author's own ideas and examples to guide us.
So where do we even begin with something this big? Well, we're going to start with something we can all relate to, something tangible, food. The entire foundation of this theory actually starts right in the kitchen. You see, the theory is grounded in some really practical examples. Take lentils, or dal. The idea here is that moongi, which is green dal, has a cooling effect on the body, so it's perfect for summer. And maha, or black dal, has a heating effect, which makes it better for winter. But here's the key. This isn't just some static recipe. It's a totally dynamic practice. The author claims that traditional cooks are constantly tweaking the ratios of ingredients based on the season, the daily weather, even the time of day. It's a system that's designed to be perfectly in tune with nature. Okay, so balancing energies in your food, that sounds a lot like ancient nutritional science, right? But the author claims it's way, way more than that. So where on earth does physics fit into all this?
And this is where things get wild. We're literally taking a giant leap from the kitchen straight into the quantum realm. The theory proposes that these foods we're eating have a distinct subatomic signature.
So what's the bridge between food and physics? Well, according to the hypothesis, it all comes down to a process called potassium 40 decay. And this is a real thing, by the way. It's a naturally occurring radioactive process where an isotope of potassium slowly changes into calcium. So here's the proposed chain of events. It starts with foods that are rich in potassium, like beans. As the potassium 40 inside them decays, it emits these tiny subatomic particles called neutrinos. And the author gives the result of this whole process a special name, a Philfo grace element.
And it's not just about beans, you know. The paper identifies a whole bunch of common foods, bananas, tomatoes, avocados, even milk, as part of this process. The suggestion is that our kitchens are basically filled with these subtle neutrino emissions.
All right, so we've connected food to particles. Now the theory expands again. This time it zooms right in on the human body, proposing this pretty radical analogy, that our bodies are basically small-scale living models of planet Earth. This quote from the source material is really striking. The author draws this direct, almost shocking parallel, suggesting that major health events in our bodies are like reflections of catastrophic geological events happening on Earth. This table really lays it all out nice and clear. High blood pressure, that's like a volcano. A heart attack is like a flood. And a stroke or paralysis, that's like an earthquake. In this model, our own biology is a perfect mirror of the planet's geology. But get this, the body isn't just a passive map in this theory. The hypothesis claims that it actually acts as a live bioaccelerator. Yeah, you heard that right. A biological version of CERN, processing the fundamental particles that we get from our food. So, food provides the particles, and our bodies accelerate them. Where does this all leading? Well, it all brings us to the very heart of the theory, a single, unifying particle that's meant to connect absolutely everything. But first, let's define that key term. Philfology is just short for Philsophology. The author coined this term by combining philosophy, the concept of the self, and ology, which represents science. It's meant to be this totally integrated field of study. So what's the guiding force in this whole system? The paper proposes something called Cymatics. And that's the study of how sound and vibration create visible geometric patterns. It's the organizing principle for all these particle interactions. And all of that brings us to the Philfo grace particle. It's proposed as a totally new fundamental particle that bridges the physical world with the metaphysical. The author even describes it as a kind of reversible Higgs boson, the particle that gives everything else mass. So let's run through its unique and pretty speculative properties. It's described as a reversible Higgs. It's guarded by something called Janus particles. It's guided by the force of cymatics, by sound, and it's supposedly linked to a fifth dimension.
From this single proposed particle, the theory just expands out to its final, most grand scale. It suggests that the entire cosmos, including consciousness itself, operates on principles that we can understand through sound and music. And this final analogy maps cosmic concepts to a musical ensemble. Neutrinos are compared to the rebab, axions are like the tabla drums, and so on. It's as if the entire universe is playing a symphony.
So in the end, the Philfo hypothesis presents a worldview with just a breathtaking scope. It's a framework that tries to connect everything, drawing a line from a humble bowl of dal all the way up to the very fabric of space-time. Whether you view all this as science, or philosophy, or maybe even art, it leaves us with one really provocative question to think about. What happens to our understanding of reality when the lines between all those fields are completely erased?